Hey you guys, it's Life of Nikki Lee podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well and living your fullest every day. So how are you all doing? We are back with part 2 of the podcast of what happened on September the 10th, the Charlie Kirk assassination. Listen, I know that I was supposed to put out part 2 earlier. Unfortunately, I did have a death in the family, so I had to take a few days off, get some stuff squared away, and I did share that with some of my subscribers. So for those of you who didn't know, that's what happened. So we're back with part 2 today. I hope you all are doing well. There's been a lot going on. I know that there's a major upheaval in politics right now and just everything that's been surrounding the events of September the 10th, right? So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about some things. The rabbit hole goes very deep, as I stated on the last podcast. Now, you're going to hear the word allegedly and in my opinion a lot, because I think there's something going on with YouTube where they are, getting at people's channels about certain things. So I just want to let you all know, this is for educational purposes and information. I put my notices already in the front. So if you know, you know. All right, let's get straight into it. So after the unfortunate passing of Charlie, there's been so much going on online. There have been so many people lashing out, and then unfortunately we had the death of Trey Reed, a young man who was found at the Delta State University campus, who had been found hanging from a tree. And there's lots of speculation behind that death, because a lot of you all know, there were threats made to a lot of HBCUs. Now, Delta State University is not an HBCU, but they do have Black students that attend there. So a lot of people were looking at that hanging, as this was some kind of retaliation. And then also, I believe it was in Vicksburg, Mississippi, they found another young man. I believe his name was Corey Zucadis, I think it was his name, who is white, by the way. They found him also hanging, unfortunately. And a lot of people were saying, oh, that's just, that's not related to what happened to the other guy. They think Trey Reed unalived himself, basically, which is weird, because a lot of people were saying that this young man had broken bones. The coroner said there was no foul play. There were no broken bones. The family said that, I believe the family did come forward and say that that was a rumor, but there's still some speculation out there because of the timing of it all. Because after these threats were made to college campus students, you mean to tell me that this young man just decided that he wanted to up and take his own life? Doesn't sound right. And just because they found another man who just so happened to be white the same day as they found Trey Reed, and they're saying, well, he's white and he was found hanging. Yeah, that's still not right either. And this is just my opinion. This is where I'm going to come in and say, allegedly, this is where I'm going to come in and say my opinion. Don't think that they won't use certain scenarios to cover something up, because everybody knows the history of Mississippi, okay? We're not going to sit here. We're not going to lollygag. We're not going to act like things aren't active down here as far as racial tension goes. It's a long history of it here, okay? Mississippi has had one of the worst Ku Klux Klan chapters, the White Knights. They were known to be the bloodiest chapter of all the Ku Klux Klan, okay? So we're not going to sit here and act like this doesn't sound suspicious, because it definitely does. And the reason why I'm going into all these details of, what spiraled, in my opinion, from Charlie Kirk's death, is this is what a lot of people got angry by. And I truly believe, again, my opinion, I truly believe there were some things done in retaliation. And not just that, what happened with the unfortunate incidents at Delta State University and in Vicksburg, but there have been so many people going around to businesses. And this is where I said, this is where it gets just even more crazy, because they go around to businesses like Starbucks and other businesses saying, they want people to acknowledge Charlie Kirk. I have to let you know that a lot of people did not even know who he was before his unfortunate passing. They didn't even know who he was. And then now that this has, come to the surface and everyone's seeing the videos and the things that he talked about, the disparaging comments that he made about Black people, especially Black women, a lot of people feel some kind of way. And then you have the right, who is fully, going after people who have anything or any kind of opinion to say about this. They're trying to now they want to talk about things such as hate speech. Keep in mind, this energy was not given to Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were brutally assassinated in their home. And the guy who took their life, even, he even took out their dog. This was just a heinous crime, and you did not hear anybody. You didn't hear anybody, wanting to talk about political violence and hate speech and all this other stuff. So it's just very selective outrage is what it's giving, basically. If you ask me, I feel that people just, you take sides in what you want to take sides in, Political violence is political violence, and it should not be tolerated whatsoever. Whatever your thoughts and your beliefs are, those are your thoughts and beliefs. Should you be taken out for them? No. But then you have people out there who are very extreme, people who love to take things too far, and they are influenced by people who go around spewing these things. Because let's be honest, when I think of Charlie, when I think of Charlie Kirk, when I think of Candace Owens, when I think of people like Nick Fuentes, these people, they made so much money off sitting on their platforms and giving their thoughts and their opinions, but I feel like it's rage baiting, because you have to be careful about what you're putting on your platform. It is rage baiting, and you're sitting here thinking that it's free speech, right? It's free speech for you, but there's somebody out here listening to that, getting amped up, getting upset, letting this fill their mind and heart with hatred, and they will fully go out there and be ready to do whatever. And this is why I said on a previous podcast that words are not just words. People have to understand that. It goes so much deeper than what people think that it does. The rabbit hole goes very deep. You have, your white white Christian nationalists. You have your Groypers. You basically have people now, they're your modern day Klan. They like to meet up on certain websites. They like to meet up on the dark web and discuss all the things that they want to discuss there. And it doesn't serve a bit of good, people. It does not. Because what is this doing for our world? What is this doing for our future generations? And then you have people talking about the rapture is coming. They're saying, oh, it's going to be coming September 22nd through the 24th. And sadly, do you know that I have actually heard people, and maybe they're making jokes, I don't know, but you actually have people going around saying that they're waiting on the rapture. Now, the world is in a bad spot when you have people actually looking forward to the rapture. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, people? What are we giving into our world? Nobody wants to acknowledge all the damage that has been done on account of quote unquote free speech. And it's just truly sad. But let's shift gears a little bit here, if you don't mind. I want to talk about the spiritual aspect of all these things, right? Things that used to hide in plain sight that are no longer doing so. And I'm going to talk about spiritual warfare. Yes, I am. I'm going to talk about things that have been put out that come back. Now, for those of you who don't know, as you know, Charlie Kirk, he said things about George Floyd, who passed away as a result of that cop being on his neck. The world saw everything unfold on camera. And Charlie had a lot to say about George Floyd. And let me tell you, I was really, like, my jaw dropped, you guys, when I found out these two men had the same birthday. The same birthday. Not only that, but they both died from injury to the neck. I mean, think about that, you guys. He went on his platforms. He had so many disparaging things to say, and he spoke on this, guy in particular. And then look at all the events that unfold thereafter. When you think about politics now, people are not even trying to hide, their hate and their hatred and their disdain for other groups of people. It is out there. It is fully out there. And the fact that people are trying to call themselves Christian behind all of this and wrap it up in some sick patriotism that you're doing this for your country and you're so proud to be this hateful. You're so proud to put all these disparaging things out there and all this nonsense and all this detrimental behavior, promoting it into society, promoting it in the media, so proud. And you're doing this all in the name of calling yourself a Christian. Well, let me tell you guys something. You're already breaking the commandments, people. Those of you who are out here doing these things, God said, love thy neighbor. Do not bear false witness against thy neighbor. There's plenty of that going on as you see it. And now, America's going to have its own version of TikTok, which I will not be partaking in because that's just another way, in my opinion, for them to monitor you and censor you and control where your content goes. And ironically, it is being put together by a company called Oracle. Think about that. If you look up the definition of oracle, it's related to spiritual things like a priest and a high priestess and shrines and prophetic, um, prophetic dreams and words and things that are going to be said to come to pass. Like, these things are all spiritual. And not in a good way. And so I will tell you all what I always tell people: get your houses in order. None of us know when the rapture is coming, but I assure you, you do not want to be on the outskirts with the Lord when he does come back. And I implore you to share as much love and as much peace as you can throughout this world, because none of us know the time or the hour. You have a lot of people who don't believe in God. You have a lot of people who have turned away from God. And in my opinion, because I myself, I am a devoted Christian. I'm not speaking for anyone else but myself when I say this. I'm not perfect, but I believe in walking with the Lord. I believe in prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in speaking positivity into people's lives. I believe in being peaceful. I believe in being loving. It is not always easy to do. It's not always easy to love and pray for your enemies, but we have to start somewhere. We have to promote some kind of peace, some kind of love throughout this world. We have to lead with love. We have to be the light so others can see the light, folks. You have to do this. You can choose not to, but in a world filled with so much darkness, you're seeing it every day. I know people who don't even watch the news anymore. They turn off the radio. And all you hear them talking about is the good old days. Because I'm telling you guys, everything that gets put out, it makes its way back. And I'm telling you, if you have learned nothing from these events of September 10th, and just overall seeing people who have made their platforms based off hatred, how so many things are coming back home to roost, pay attention. This is nothing to play with. It's right there in our faces each and every day, you guys. This is real. And it is happening around us every day. And people who don't believe in the Most High, people who don't believe in our Creator, I'm gonna pray for you, and I don't, and I'm not saying that in a condescending way, because I know that Christians do not have the best reps out here right now. Okay. But me personally, me myself, I genuinely pray for those to get on the right path. I do. Because the thing about words, you hear them and they go to your heart, and then they come out through your actions. And that's why I say, again, words are never just words. And you have people out here whose words have gotten them in trouble or will get them in trouble. You have to be careful what you're out here promoting, what you're out here, telling people. Because a lot of people, like I said, rage baiting is like the new career for a lot of people who just, they just want to be heard. They're not necessarily thinking about the damage that they're promoting further down the line. They just want to sit on the platform, be noticed, get paid, and that's it. And then when things start swinging back and coming back to hit them full circle, they're wondering what happened. Well, look what you put out there. And also, keep in mind certain things that you say You can't take those words back. Once you have influenced somebody and they go out there and they do something to harm somebody else, the damage has been done. You try to promote a certain lifestyle or what people should do, how they should look at a certain group of people, the damage has been done. You are going out there and you are perpetuating a harmful thing that is eventually going to come back and bite you in the behind. I'm telling you. Miss Candace Owens herself, prime example. You know, she sits up there, she spoke so much about the Black community, has so much to say. She went over there, she, you know, got with her friends, you know, Ben Shapiro and all those guys. And you thought you were the exception, ma'am. And look what happened. They all outcasted you. You're a pariah now, ma'am. She tried to come back and, you know, she came on Breakfast Club and, you know, she was trying to make her way back to, I guess, I don't know. I guess that was her way of trying to reach back out to the Black community. But let's just be honest. Most of the Black community is done with her. Because once you put out such hateful rhetoric about the Black community, it's like you're not for us and you never were. And I'm so tired of people thinking that you have to bash your own to be accepted by other groups of people. That's disgusting. It's a form of self-hatred, in my opinion. It's just very damning and it's very damaging. And so now, you know, she's speaking on Charlie Kirk because she, you know, that was her friend. And she's saying, oh, this doesn't sound right. And this and that. And I'm like, girl, what you better do right now, you just better be careful and think about your family because, girl, you're getting sued by the Macrons. You know, you have pissed off a lot of your right-wing friends that they don't fool with you. Well, they're not your friends, but they don't fool with you. You started speaking out on the war. Yeah, we already knew what that was going to lead to. And you're still going. And it's like, girl. And now she's threatening to expose people on the right. Her and, Nick Fuentes, they've had it out. Imagine this, a whole white supremacist calling you an Uncle Tom. Wow, that's wild. And it just goes to show you, it does not help you bashing your own people. And it's like, girl, be careful. You got enemies in high places now, so, be careful. Why you are still rage baiting and why you were so concerned about what's going on with the French president's wife, what's up under her clothes, girl, you better be worried about your safety and your family. Because you're not doing yourself any favors right now, girl. Political violence is in our faces, and these people out here, they're letting it be known they don't mind going after other people. But with all that being said, I want to make it very, very clear, you guys, you will see a lot of things before this is all said and done that are very disparaging, that are very discouraging. But again, promote peace, lead with love, lead with a kind heart. It doesn't take much to be kind. Yes, sometimes people, they test us and they get on our nerves, but at the end of the day, you have to fight for the better good. You know that in the end, it is already written that good prevails. Lead with love. Let love be your legacy of above all things. Don't let this world get you down. Don't let anyone steal your joy, folks. Shout out to Moni B. I saw that on her post. She was like, don't let anyone steal your joy. I was like, yes, girl. Yes, Moni. Yes. Shout out to Moni B on YouTube. Love her. Moni Bubba. Yeah. But you all will we just gotta take it day by day. I'll be back on the next podcast. Next, we'll be talking about a few other things coming up this week, some trending topics, some updates and whatnot. Glad to be back with you guys. Glad to touch bases with you. Love you guys so much. I will see you on the next podcast. This is Nikki Lee signing out. See you later, guys. Bye.